I was raised on fairy tales, and they were, for some, it was for enjoyment. For others, they thought the lesson was really important.
The moral of the story.
Moral of the story.
Right.
And I always liked most the fairy tales that had an elaborate artistic presentation of the fairy tale.
The illustrations, you mean?
Right.
Yeah, like the castle.
And so here we had an entirely illustrated fairy tale. And Grandma's Sleeping Beauty. And I thought it was beautiful, visually.
The video was.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was visually beautiful, and I'll be honest, I was as tickled for your two responses and mine as I was for the video, which is really a positive statement for the video itself. What?
Yeah, well, it also, it does this little twist. You think that the granny is going to be very respectful to the little girl and say things like, and in the end, did the bad people get punished and things like, and then she completely goes, no, they didn't get punished. And all those people who said, I thought you were dead. That's why we didn't invite you. She just really lampooned, for me, the youth culture. It was kind of like we've had these discussions about your daughter.
Cancel culture.
Yes.
Cancel culture, and then anyone who uses the wrong pronouns, they're out.
Yeah, and all this kind of emphasis on young and pretty and the privileges of all those people. And this was really making a real pitch for Granny. And then she would lapse into saying, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Just like, and then it was a good revenge.
The problem with it was that this child was terrorized by this granny. I mean, it was a holy terror, that nighttime bedtime story. So it's actually, horrific. The video is horrific, but nonetheless, we ended up laughing through it. But you understand the rage of a person who's old in the face of this incredibly fascistic beauty that rules on our planet. Beauty rules. And I remember also young women who are artists doing this presentation on the word pretty. They tore it to shreds. I was like, yes! Finally someone's attacking this word, because it dominates everything a girl does from the time she's out of the womb to her grave. She has to be attractive, and beautiful, and I thought the one thing women are not forgiven for is being unattractive. It's like, that's the end of you. If you're a woman and not attractive.
Yeah, but also, you also, once you get to be stereotyped as attractive, you can't get rid of that.
Right. It's another enslavement.
And then you get old and you're so sick of looking pretty. It's like, oh, give me a break. Once again, I'm supposed to go, curl my thing, make my eyelashes. So boring. And I don't know if people think that being considered pretty is like a really great thing. It isn't such a great thing.
No! It's
like Italy. Italy is a really good country for reversing the hierarchy. So when I was in Italy with my sister, who was a few years older than I, we decided, after watching the way the Italian family lived, that once we hit our 60s, we were in the United States, we were going to go back to Italy. And live in Italy, because the old ladies in Italy run the roost.
Yeah, they do.
They absolutely, the husband, the old guy sits there, but the grandmother, and I thought, wow, that was very wise.
So this was sort of a portrait of
the
Italian woman.
And I'll just have this to say. I had 2 children, and I'm a reader, and I love to read them children's stories and fairy tales. And it's funny, I often thought, and this film showed it too, that the teller or reader of the tale had more fun than the receiver of the tale. And the point was never to frighten them or to have them not enjoy it, but for them to enjoy the hearing of a story and in a way introduce reading to children. And this child may never want another story to it ever again. So I thought it was just beautiful.
Right now, telling the camera, I've been writing what I keep calling puppet shows, but we haven't had a single use of a puppet. These are the actors and myself also. And it's been fun because the more and more I goof around with these puppet shows, the more I go back into the time period when I was 5 and 6 and was reading fairy tales, which because it defies the logic of things. And so with this puppet show, I'm trying all sorts of turning like a sentence into a character. And I'm just thinking it's a really good idea to have flashbacks when you're old of your fairy
You
tales.
revisit everything.
Yeah, because fairy tales, to be 5 and 6 and sort of discover that you have to be logical and tell the truth and you couldn't steal flowers, all sorts of stuff that I would do. I would steal my neighbor's flowers and claim that the wind had taken them and I was punished for being lying in their list. And I still continue to steal the flowers. But then you're reading these books where the flowers become animals or they become, where the logic was expanded. And that was such a gift to be a kid and then think, that wolf just did a ballerina pirouette. All that kind of stuff. That was really nice.
And again, maybe as a concluding remark, that a nice thing about fairy tales is there doesn't have to be anything real in it. Saying fairy tale makes it a tale that is not going to be true, but there might be something beautiful in it.
Nice.
And so I love to.